Hi class, my name is Lieutenant Colonel Ned Lynch and I'm teaching a class today for one of my practicum classes. And this is at Lyman Ward Military Academy in Camp Hill, Alabama, out in the middle of nowhere. Here, and these young teenage cadets are, and we're missing one today, he's flying. They are learning how to fly as part of their curriculum here as an elective. And so I'm teaching them ground school. I'm teaching them the basics that they need to know in the airplane so they can survive, and so that 30 years from now, when I get together with you guys for a party, they'll still be alive. Okay, so we are using John Wooden's Pyramid of Success, and it's up here on the wall, along with my Grit Talk acronym, which we can go over later. And we also have Apple TV here in this building that was probably built back in 1930 or something. And we're down to the basement and we've got everything kind of looking like a hangar in here. Anyway, we start off our class talking about John Wooden's Pyramid, and today we're talking about weather and weather reports, and these are the blocks that we're going to cover. But last week, the class was having some issues with doing assignments and paying attention in class. And so I really got deep into Wooden's Pyramid last week, and this is a review for you guys, okay? And I'm going to add some new information because we talk about the foundation of this pyramid of success is relationships. Hard work is a cornerstone, and enthusiasm, and this is careful planning as well. But then we have friendship, loyalty, and cooperation. And if we don't have these set correctly, and this is the best case scenario that John Wooden has here, because I believe that this pyramid is dynamic, guys. What does dynamic mean? I mean, it's changing and it's fluid. And so is your friendship level always going to be high in loyalty and cooperation? Well, it depends, okay? You want it to be. This is a perfect situation where the blocks are set in stone. There's more to qualities, as we've talked about. And if you build a house and the brickwork is not correct, then the level above it can't withstand, the lower level can't withstand the pressure from above. And so you'll never make it to the top if you don't have each level built properly, okay? And what I did is I drew it up here this way. We talked about, you guys, your hard work, you're not putting in necessarily the work. You haven't watched your DVDs like you're required to. So yeah, we lower that hard work and planning down. Friendship. Yeah, you guys can call yourselves friends, but you're not fully at the level you should be for being a friend. Loyalty. I'm not seeing the loyalty to the program that you should have if you want to be pilots. Where I get in an airplane one day and I trust that you're not going to kill me. Cooperation to graduate. Cooperate to graduate, right? Are you guys really getting together at night and talking aviation, or are you on your phones? And enthusiasm. This can be a quiet enthusiasm as well, but you have to be enthusiastic and to the point where you're enjoying it. You are enjoying the pain of having to do the extra work. And you're getting the great, deep satisfaction that you get from being a pilot and overcoming challenging situations on a daily basis. Okay, so if you, and little class interruption here with Cadet Cody Stone showing up.
Sorry.
How was the flying today? In a minute. All right, back to Wooden's Pyramid. Since you were not here just a few minutes ago, I'm covering Wooden's Pyramid like we always do, and I always talk about how you gotta have this foundational level. And if you don't, then everything above it's gonna be all jumbled mess, okay? So as a pilot who goes out on his own on a solo flight, what have I said 100 times? You've got to be able to think, make decisions, and think alone because you're solo. You're not going to have a pilot sitting next to you telling you what to do. Okay? You've got to make decisions on your own. And with weather, that's going to be one of your biggest decisions you're going to have to be making. Okay? And so, back over here, if your hard work and planning are not done, then your self-control is going to be all out of whack. And what is the number one thing that I keep saying that a pilot's responsibility is? A pilot is to maintain control of the airplane, and that includes maintaining control of your mind, your attitude, your effort, and your focus. Okay? So it's mind, body, and spirit as far as self-control goes. And if you hadn't done the hard work and planning, then you're not going to have the self-control you need, and then your condition above it is not going to be stable. And you're not going to be alert if your friendship and loyalty is out of whack. And you're not going to be able to make decisions alone if you haven't learned how to cooperate and be loyal. And your intentness is going to be out of whack if your cooperation and enthusiasm are not good. And of course, that affects your team spirit and ultimately your skill. And your skill is a knowledge of and the ability to properly and quickly execute the fundamentals, guys. This is at the heart of the pyramid. If you stand back and look at it, skill is at the center. And a knowledge of is what we are here for. A knowledge of the fundamentals. And then you have to have the ability to apply the fundamentals in the airplane. So why are we talking about weather reports and weather? Because it is the one thing that will kill you the most as a pilot. So these are the blocks: hard work and planning for industrial resistance, self-control, alertness, initiative, ability to think alone. Okay, alertness, you got to be constantly observing, constantly keeping an open mind, and learning how to improve your ability to analyze the weather and apply it to your situation. Because the weather is always changing at all times. And then your skill level, as we talked about, is a knowledge of. Okay, you got to execute the fundamentals. If you can't do the fundamentals, then you're not going to be able to be successful. You're not going to have the confidence, and you're never going to make it to be what we call competitive greatness, but that greatness is at the top, which means that you're the best when your best is needed, which is going to be when that engine fails on you, when you're dealing with weather that is worse than you had planned. But also note right here at skill is to be prepared and cover every detail, little detail. That means you got to pay attention to detail is critical as a pilot. And then the more qualities, you got to be able to adapt to any situation with weather changing. You got to use proper judgment. Remember we talked about judgment and decision-making errors is one of a pilot. That's one of the big pilot errors that we have out there. We have skill-based errors, we have judgment, decision-making errors, and then we have perceptual areas where you have misapplied the controls based on the weather being worse than it was. You got spatial disorientation, for example. But then honesty. Okay, you gotta be honest about the weather. Because you can talk yourself into anything with self-talk. You can use self-talk to get yourself in trouble. And reliability. You gotta use reliable sources for your weather. Okay, so does that make sense, what we're talking about?
Yes, sir.
All right. Quickly about grit talk again. This is, the G stands for goals as well, because if you're grinding, you're gonna have goals and you're gonna be growing. And pilots grow, they're always thinking about improving. And then regulate, you always have to be able to control your arousal as a pilot, because you're gonna have circumstances that are gonna come up that you're not anticipating, and you've got to be able to control your breathing and control your mind to keep yourself in the moment so that you can make decisions and think alone. And then you got to be able to chair fly and use imagination, imagining the process. You got to go home and chair fly, which means that you rehearse. It's a mental rehearsal. And then think, or self-talk, or transformation. But this is all dealing with thoughts. You cannot turn your thoughts off. So you got to be able to reframe the negative to a positive. And sometimes you're going to be dealing with weather where you're going to be look out and there's going to be uncertainty. And you've got to use experience. You got to use the knowledge of, the skill to be able to formulate a plan of action to be successful with it. And 50% of accidents in the United States, or what? 50% of the accidents, lost, pilot failed to maintain control. Maintain control. Maintain control, self-control. Okay, this is just part of a class. It's an hour and a half, 2 days a week, and we intertwine in Wooden's Pyramid and maintaining control into everything that we do. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.